So welcome to the last section of this course, and in this section we're going to build a wishlist app. So the user can just put in his wishes. First of all, he has to authenticate himself, and then he can put in his wishes, and he can also tick them off so that they go to the fulfill section. So to show it to a guy, first of all, let's actually authenticate the user. So let's create a user. Here we have the login tab, and we also have the register tab. So let's actually create a user. So I'll say the email is going to be wishly@gmail.com. And yeah, the username we could just give Wishly, maybe, Wishly, and the password I'll say Wishly1234. Perfect. Now if I click on register, the user should be registered and we'll be taken to the home screen. There you go. This is the home screen, wish list, and I have 0 wishes for now. So I have the wishes tab, and I also have the fulfill tab. So I can just put in any wish I want. So I can just pick an image. So I'll just pick this image. Maybe I'll say the price for this is maybe $200, and the wish, okay, this is a motivational pic. I'll just give a title for this. Now if I click on this, add to my list, this will be added to my wish list, and there you go, success, wish added. We also have a snack bar, we have the image, we have the title, and we also have the price of this whole wish. So if I got the product which I wished, I can just click on, I can just tick it off here. And there you go, perfect, fulfilled. So in the fulfill section I have one, and I can just also bring it to the wishes section. There you go, perfect. I can also make another wish, maybe, yeah, this one, maybe this is $100, and another pic. Click on add to my list. There you go, the number also updates in real time. There you go, 2 wishes, another pic, and this is really perfect. So what are we going to use? So first of all, we're going to use a Firebase as our database. So let me just show you Firebase. So you know Firebase, right? So we used local database SQLite, we used APIs, we used web scraping, but we never used the Firebase database. So let me just introduce you Firebase database in this section. So actually many of you guys know this. So we're going to build with this Firebase, and we have here the authentication section. We'll authenticate the users, and then we're going to save the data of the users here in the Firestore database in collections and documents, and we're going to store the images in the Firebase storage section. Perfect. And the state management, so we're going to use the GetX State management, because in the 9th section, right, so in the previous section we built a cryptocurrency app with GetX, but there we only used a bit of GetX. But in this section we're going to use full on GetX. So we're going to go in depth with GetX. We're going to use the reactive values like OBX, also OBS, GetX widgets, and also navigation with GetX, so get material app, and so on. So we're going to go really in depth with GetX, and yeah, I'm going to just show you more cool features with GetX. Also the snack bar which you saw was with GetX. So as you see, GetX is really powerful. So yeah, that's it for the introduction. So let me just see you in the coding tutorials where we actually make this app with GetX, Flutter, and Firebase. So as always, I created a new folder, and I created a folder named Wishly. So first of all, let's get some packages before we go on to the coding sections. So let's go to pubsec.yaml and get some few packages here. Under dependencies, first of all, I'm going to get the get package. So with this package, I'm going to use the GetX State management, and then I'm going to get the Firebase core package for initializing Firebase. Then I'm also going to get the Firebase storage package to store all my images and so on. Then I'm going to also get the Firebase auth package for authenticating my users, and then I'm going to also use the Cloud Firestore package for saving the data in Firebase, right? And then as usual, if you know me well, I'm going to use the Google Fonts package for configuring all my fonts with this package, and then I can also use the image picker package for picking some images. So that's it for the packages. So just click on save all, and in the next section let's configure Firebase before we actually go on to the actual coding sections. So after getting the packages, let's actually configure our database, right? So our database, what we're going to use is the Firebase database. You can just go to console.firebase.google.com, and in here we can authenticate users through Firebase. We can also save the data of the users, and we can also save some images into the server. So to create a project or to create a database, let's just click on add project and just give it a name. I already did it. So this is that, my app. There you go, my app. This is my project. You just have to click on create project, and then you'll have a new fresh project. So for connecting this Firebase to our app, we have to actually do something like call add app thing. But before that, let's actually configure some things. Let's go to the authentication and set up a sign in method. So I want to sign in users, right? So I want to sign in users through email and password. So I click on this email and password and I'll enable this. So now users are enabled to authenticate through email and password. And also go to the Firestore database. Here we're gonna save the user's data, like the name, the password, not the password, the name, the actual data, like the actual wishes he actually saves, right? So we have to save the wishes here, and then we'll retrieve it back into our UI. And make sure you define the rules correctly. Make sure here go to the rules, and here at the beginning it will be allow read write if false, but make sure you just rename the rules. You just have to say allow read write if request.auth is not null. So if the user is authenticated, then only he has access to our database. And then also here at Firebase storage, also enable this, and here we can save the images. So the wishes images, for example, if he wishes an iPhone, he'll provide an image, right? So we're going to save that image here in the Firebase storage. Now let's connect this database with our app. So to do that, go to project overview, click on add app, and I will add an Android app because I only have an Android emulator and I only have Windows, so I can't show it for iOS, but there are plenty of tutorials on YouTube or on Udemy. So make sure you have, first of all, we have to give it an app name, right? So let's go to our project, go to Android, go to app, build.gradle, somewhere here, there you go, com.wishly. My app name is com.wishly. Where was that? There you go, com.wishly. Click on register app. If you register our app, then it will give us something called a config file. With this file we can actually connect the database with our app. This file contains the API keys and so on. So we have to place this file also in a correct position. It has to be placed in the app, see, in the app folder, and then you just have to put it in the app root folder. Let me just show you. So I'm going to take this, go to app, and put it here in the app folder. So go to the Android folder. In the Android folder we have this app folder, right? So put it in the app folder. There you go, that's placed perfectly. And after placing the Google services.json, let's go to the database again, click on next. Now we have to add some lines, so you have to add this dependency. Click on add this line. So make sure you place this line in project level build.gradle. So let's go to our app again. So get to the Android folder, and there we have a build.gradle, and paste that over here. Perfect. And here we also have to place this line, apply plugin, and this time we have to go to the Android folder and go to the app folder. In the app folder we have this build.gradle. There we have to place this. Perfect. So after placing everything, now we also have to click on, yeah, actually we're finished. Click on next and click on continue to console. And we have to do one last thing. Go to the, where is it, build.gradle file, somewhere here, build.gradle, yeah, here in the app folder. So in the Android folder, go to the app folder, there go to the build.gradle file. In this file, place multi-dex enabled is true. So this should be true because when we actually run this whole app in our emulator, it will give us a dex error. So that's why to enable this dex error, we just have to say multi-dex enable is true, so then it won't show that error. Now we're actually finished, we are set to go. So now we're going to actually code out the actual UI of our app, and also, yeah, add wishes, get wishes from a database, and so on. So we're finished with setting everything up. Now let's go to the coding sections. Okay, so there you go, my app is up and running. So I have this default Flutter app, right? Now let's do some basic cleanup because I don't want this. So let me just delete some stuff here. And then let me just close the material app. In the material app, let's actually disable this debug show check mode banner. So I'm going to say debug show check mode banner is going to be false, and then also my home of this is going to be an authentication screen, because first of all I want to authenticate my users, and then we'll go on to the home screen. So I'll just create the auth screen, and now let's create a new folder where we'll have all our screens, because we want a neat code structure. That's why I'm creating new folders for all the screens. We'll organize everything perfectly. So in the screens folder, let's create a new file named auth screen. So here this is going to be an authentication screen. Let me import Flutter here, and then let's create a stateless widget named auth screen. Perfect. So here let's return a container, or let's actually return a scaffold, right? So that we can give some app bars and so on. So actually this should be the root, a scaffold. So here we have a scaffold, and in the scaffold, so we're going to have a signature scroll view because I want my whole page to be scrollable. Let's actually import also the auth screen here. Okay, let's also save everything so that we can see the live UI updates in our emulator. There you go, perfect. I have a white scaffold. Now in the scaffold, the body of this is going to be a single child scroll view because, as I said, my page should be scrollable. I don't want any errors when I open up the keyboard. So in the single child scroll view, let's give it a child. So the child is going to be a column because I'll have elements beneath each other and the children of this column. So the first child is going to be the whole title of the whole app. It's going to be a text widget named Wishlist. And then to give a style for this whole text widget, let's actually create a new function, a text style function. Let's create it in a new file. Let's in the lib folder, let's create a new file named utils.dart. Here I have all my utils. I'm going to import Flutter here because I need Flutter. And here now I'm going to create a new function named text style. And wherever I want, I can just use this function. So text style, and yeah, we have to just provide some parameters. So the first parameter is going to be a size. Then the text will have some color, and also it's going to have a font weight, so how bold it is. Now here I'm going to return my Google Fonts thing. So I just use the Montserrat font because I really like that font. So Google Fonts dot, let's actually import this Google Fonts. Okay, perfect. I'm going to use the Montserrat font because I really like that font. And now I can just say size is going to be size, the color is going to be the color, and the font weight is going to be my FW variable or parameter. We have a slight error, so it's, yeah, there is no parameter size. I think it's font size. Yeah, it's font size actually. And let's close this whole function. Now I can just use this function wherever I want. So here, for example, I can just call my text style function. Now I can just provide some parameters. So it's going to have a font size of 35 pixels. And then the color of this is going to be a light blue color. So colors dot light blue 400. And then I'm going to also give it a font weight. So the font weight is going to be font weight at bold. And let's import this text style function. So perfect. And we'll have an error because, yeah, as Flutter upgraded, we have this null safety errors, right? So we have to provide an exclamation mark. Perfect. Now let me just save everything, but let's actually save everything. So save all, because I also have to save the utils.dart file, right? And now we'll have the text Wishlist somewhere in the middle. No, we don't have, because we have some errors. Let's see. Okay, import.html. I don't want this. I don't know why it imported. Sometimes it just happens. I don't know why. Yeah, there you go, Wishlist. But yeah, it's not in the center, right? Let's actually align everything in the center. So for that, I have to just provide a body, like the single child scroll view should be wrapped into a container, and the container's alignment should be in the center. So alignment is alignment.center. Okay, perfect. Let's save everything, and this should be in the middle. There you go, Wishlist. So after this, now I'll have two tabs. So the one tab is for the login, another tab is for the register. So after this text, let's have a sized box. So const sized box, and the height of this is going to be 20. So I'm providing just some 20 pixels of spacing between the text widget and now the tab. So the tab is going to be, first of all, I'm going to have a login tab and then a register tab, as I said. So that's why I have to put it in a row, right? Because they both are next to each other. So row children, and I'm going to create a new function for this named build tab, because I don't want to write the code again and again. I want to reuse the code. So let's build this function, like build tab. I can just use this function here, build tab. And the build tab function takes in 3 parameters. So first one is the text parameter, and then it's going to take, so it has to know if it's selected or not. So text and then selected, and also it's going to take the current context of the whole app. So in the build tab function, I can just return a container. In the container, I'm going to have, first of all, here the width. So the width is going to be, yeah, just take the whole width and divided it by 2, because I only want the half of the width. and then I'm going to have a height. So the height is going to be 40 pixels, and the child of this whole container is going to be a text widget. Yeah, the text of it is going to be the text parameter which I provided in the build tab function, right? Perfect. And the style of this is going to be text style, but it depends on the selected. So if the tab is selected, if selected is true, then have a text style with the size of 22 pixels, yeah, and the color this time should be colors.light blue accent. But if it's not selected, the color should be, you know, kind of like a gray color. So font fit.bold. And now I can provide this if check. So selected, then question mark text style, and then I have to provide a double point, because now what happens if it's not selected? Then I can just copy this, but I'm going to change the parameters. So the color should be light gray, or just gray, I think. Yeah, just gray. And the font weight should be font weight.w500. Now when I just save everything, but I can't save everything because I have a slight error. Yeah, I have to provide these things here in the build tab. So I created the function build tab. I'm calling the function, but I have to provide the parameters for this, right? So let's say login, and the text is going to be login, and let's say it is selected for now, so let's say true, and let's also provide the context. Perfect. Yeah, I can also provide the other build tab. So the other build tab is for the register, and of course this should be false because it's not selected, and I'm providing the context. Okay, and now in the role, let's also align everything. So I'll say main axis alignment is main axis alignment dot space evenly. Now when I save everything, I should see the tabs, the login tab and the register tab. Yeah, there you go, login, register, and these texts are not in the center, right? So let's go to the build tab, and let's wrap this whole text into a center so that everything is in the center. There you go, login and register are in the center. Okay, perfect. So we have this, and now after this row, let's again provide some spacing. Font size box, height 20, and now yeah, so we have to provide the widgets, right? So we have to provide the login widget or the register widget. So what I'm going to do now, for now I'm going to just build out the login widget. So I have to create this widget, and we'll also have register widget, but we'll build it later on. So new folder, widgets, and now let's create two widgets. So the first widget is going to be login widget dot. Let's import Flutter here. Let's get stateless widget. Yeah, I can just call this login widget. I can just delete these const things. And now let's create another widget named register widget. Let's import Flutter again. Let's create a stateless widget. Register widget. Let's delete this const. Okay, perfect. And now let's import a login widget here. So for now, I'm gonna just build out the UI for the login widget, and then later on, if we build out the state, so if we build out the state with GetX, then we're also going to build the registered widget. So I have to provide some state for this tab, right? So when I click on the register, I have to show the register widget, and this should be selected. And if I click back on login, then I have to show the login widget down here, and this should be selected. Okay, for now we just designed the auth screen, but in the next section we're going to actually do the state management of this whole tab. We're going to provide some state, and also just finish off the whole authentication screen before we go on to the home screen. So after building out the UI for the auth screen, let's actually provide some state for this whole UI. So let's create a GetX controller as we did it in the previous project with the cryptocurrency app. So let's create a new folder named controllers. And the controllers, let's create a new file named auth controller. So this is going to be an authentication controller. I'm going to write all the code for the authentication only. For example, logging in the user, registering the user, or for example, now we have to provide the state for this tab. So I'm going to first of all write some logic for the tab. Let me just write get controller, then it will just open up the snippet. And I'm going to just name this, as I said, auth controller. I'm going to delete all this stuff. I don't want this. So the first thing first, what we want to create. So we want to create an observable tab string, right? So this should be a stream. So this should be reactive. When I change this whole tab or when I change this whole tab, this should be changed automatically because I want this reactive. That's why like GetX is all about reactiveness, right? So let's create a rx string because I want to listen to the string value. So let's say rx string tab is equal to login, and as this is an rx string, this should be dot obs. So now I can listen to this tab, like this is everything is reactive. Now I can just create a new function named change tab, and it takes in a value. So with this value, what I can do is I can say tab. So the tab value, the tab.value, this should be changed depending on whichever value I provide in the change tab function. So after creating this function change tab, which I can just change a tab. So when I just call this whole function change tab, then this whole tab variable will be changed. So for example, if I provide as a parameter for this change tab function register, if I provide a register here, then this tab value will be changed to register. Okay, that's how it works. Now we can just use this auth controller in the auth screen. For that we have to inject the state, right? So here what I can do is I can say auth controller is gonna be auth controller, or yeah, auth controller, and now I can just say get dot, so I have to import get. Let me just import getx. So this should be ignored. Let me just import getx. There we go. Get dot put, because I'm injecting the state to this whole UI. That's how we differentiate between the UI and the state logic, right? So get dot put, I can just say auth controller. Now I'm just injecting the controller to this UI. Now I can just use this auth controller, but for that I have to do a full restart because I just injected the state like this, right? So let's do a full restart, actually a hot restart, and now I can just use this auth controller. So after doing a full restart, then in your tab, like in your console, there you go, instance auth controller has been created, instance auth controller has been initialized. Now I can just use this auth controller. So for example, here at the build tab variable, for example, if I want to change the tab to register, so I can just say refactor. I want to refactor everything. I actually want to create the inkwell, so I'll just say like this. Okay, inkwell on tab. So when I click on this, something should happen, but the child of this inkwell is going to be my build tab function. So I can just take this build tab. Perfect. Now the same thing for the register also. So I can say register, and this should be false for now, but later I'll do it dynamically. Now I'm just hard coding the values. So inkwell, when I click on this login tab, what should happen then? I'll say auth controller dot change tab. Now I can call this function change tab, and the value which I'm providing is just the login. So the login, like the tab variable, should change to login. But if I click on the register tab, then the tab variable should change to register, right? Register. Perfect. And now how to deal with this true and false. So I can't just write true or false, because if I click on register here, this should be true, right? So how that happens? So here, instead of saying true, I'm going to say auth controller dot tab dot value, and if I'm checking if it is login. So if it is login, then it should be true. So this is just an indirect boolean check. So this will provide me a boolean. For example, if the tab value is login, then login is equal to login, so this should be true. But for example, if the tab variable is registered, then it will be false, so this automatically will be false. So I'm just doing an indirect if check, which just returns a boolean. Now I can do the same thing here, but instead of saying auth controller tab dot value is equal to login, I have to say register. Now this should actually work, and we have to wrap this whole row into an obx. So let me just wrap this whole center. So I can just say obx. So what is an obx? I'll come to it. Just give me a moment. So as you know, obx is just for reactiveness. So I provided the rx strings in the auth controller, right, to tell the UI that it should be changed. So auth controller that changed tab to login. So of course in the state this will be changed, but in the UI it won't change, right? We have to do kind of like a hard reload. But this obx, if you wrap it in an obx, it automatically will just update the whole UI, So that's the power of OBX and the whole GetX architecture. Now when I save everything, so this will be login, but now as you see, when I click on register, this will be blue. There you go, perfect, because now this is selected. And when I click on login, there you go, this is selected because it's login. When I click on register, this is selected. When I click on login, this is selected. Perfect. So our state management is working perfectly. Now I can do the same thing for the login widget here also. I can wrap this into an OBX because I have to show the UI that I'm changing something. Now I can just say auth controller dot tab dot value, if it is equal to login. So if it is equal to login, then show the login widget, but when not, then so if it is equal to register, then show the register widget. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Now let's click on save everything. So for now we have like a white blank space because in the login widget we're just returning a container. When I click on register, this down here we have register widget now, because this is equal to like the auth controller tab value is equal to register, right? So I'm checking here, if it is not equal to login, then show the register widget. Yeah, as I said, we can't see anything because we're just returning a blank container. But in the next section we'll build out the UI for the login widget and the register widget. I just wanted to just implement some state management before we go and build out the UI. So I hope you understood this GetX architecture. It's just really powerful with its RX strings and so on. Yeah, if you will just continue building out the app, then you'll just know about the other GetX features also. So after providing some state for the whole authentication screen, let's build out the UI for the login and the register widget. So let's go to login widget first of all and build out the login widget. So let me just click on login now, we can, so that we can see the live updates. So here, instead of saying return container, I'm going to return a column because I'll have elements beneath each other, and the children of this first of all is going to be a text field for the email. So user has to provide an email, then he has to provide a password and so on, right? So let's create a basic text field, but let's wrap it in a container because we can give some sizings, we can give a width and we can give heights. So for the sizing, I'm going to create a width. So here the width of this is going to be, take the whole width, and yeah, just actually take the whole width because later on I'll just give some margins. So take the whole width, media period of contact or size dot width, and then the height. Yeah, we're not going to provide any height because it's just a text field, right? But we'll provide a margin. So from the left side and from the right side, we'll create some margins for this. So edge insets dot only, from the left side 40 pixels and from the right side also 40 pixels, and let's say const because this should be constant. And then the child of this is going to be my text field. So here I'm going to say text form field. The controller of this, let's create a controller. So up here let's create text editing controller. I'm going to say text editing controller is going to be an email controller, is text editing controller. Now I can just say the controller of this is going to be an email controller. Okay, perfect. The style of this is going to be my text style function. The style of the whole text form field, I can use my text style function. 16 pixels. The color, yeah, we can just say colors.black. And the font weight, I'll say font weight at W500. I don't want it that bold. Okay, and then the decoration, let's decorate the whole text form field. Is going to be an input decoration. Yeah, I have to provide a comma for this here. Input decoration. Okay, perfect. In the input decoration, what do we want to decorate? We want to give some color, right? So let's say fill is going to be true, and the fill color, we have to provide any color. So the color is going to be colors.gray 250, and the hint text, so user has to know what he has to enter here, is going to be just email. And the hint style, we have to provide some styling for the whole text here. I can just copy this text style function. Yeah, 16 pixels, colors are gray, but this time they should be gray. And the border, let's give also border for this text form field. So border is just input border.none. Just don't give any border. So I'm just saying input border.none. Now when I go full hot reload, there you go, email text form field, and it looks really clean. Now after this container, let's say const sized box height, let's provide some spacing, so 20 pixels, and I can just copy this whole code for this text form field. So I can just copy this and paste it over here, but this time I'll change it to password, and I'll create a separate text editing controller for this also. So I'll create a text editing controller, a new text editing controller, and I'll name this password controller. Here I can just say password controller. Perfect. When I save everything, I'll have another text field for the password sections. Here I can just enter the password. There you go, email password. Now let's also create a button for this. So when I click on the button, so it should be a login button. When I click on a button, then user has to log in with Firebase. So after this container, let's create a sized box again. So const sized box, height is 23 pixels, and I can just again say container. And because I want to decorate this whole button, that's why I'm saying container with a width. So the width is, take the whole width and multiply it by 0.6. that means take 60% of the whole width dynamically, because I want some responsiveness. So take 60% of the whole width, and the height of this is going to be 45 pixels, and the child of this is going to be a text button. So I can say text button, because back in the days we would use a raised button, but now we have to use a text button because the raised button is deprecated. And on press, so when you clicks on this, nothing will happen, but the style of this whole thing, I have to give a background color and so on. So I'll say text button dot style from, and now I have to create a background color. So the background color is going to be colors dot light blue, 200, so a lighter light blue. But we have some error. The name parameter child is required, but there's no corresponding argument. Yeah, I have to create, of course, a child for this whole text button. So the child of this is going to be a text widget, which is going to say login. So user knows this is a login button. Now let's also give some styling. So the style is going to be my text style function again. The size is 20 pixels, and the color is going to be colors.white. The font weight is just make it bold. Perfect. When I click it, when I save everything, now I'll have a login button. Then later on, when the user clicks on this, I have to log in the user. Okay, for now nothing will happen, but later on when you click on this, we have to implement some functions for logging the user with Firebase. So that's it for the login widget. In the next section or in the next video, we'll build a register widget. It's actually pretty much a similar thing. So for the register widget, we won't take that much of time because we can just copy these text fields, right? So let's go to register widget, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just first of all just copy some stuff from here. So I'm going to just copy the whole column, the return column. Let's go to the register widget, just paste it over here. Of course, we have to also just copy these controllers also. So for registering the user, what do we have? We have an email controller, we have a password controller, but we also have to create a username controller, because for register, the user also has to enter his username. So let's say username controller. Perfect. And let's also import this text style function. Okay, here we have email controller, and here instead of saying password, this should be for the username. So here I'll say username, and I can just say username controller, and I can just copy this whole container and create another sized box. Or do you know what, let me also copy this sized box and paste it over here, and for this I can say password, and the controller for this is going to be password controller. Okay, perfect. As you saw, so we have an email text field, then after that we have a username text field, then we have a password text field. Now we'll have a register button. So instead of saying login, let's say register, and that's how it works, because I just copied some values, because it's just pretty much the similar thing as we did in the login widget. We just have to have these text fields, but later on for implementing the state or for implementing the authenticating users section, there we have to do that as a code. Okay, let's go to the register tab and see if it worked. There you go, email, username and password. But let's actually say 18 pixels only. I don't want that much of spacing. And let's also go here, 18 pixels should be good, because we don't need that much of spacing, right? Let me also click here, save all, there you go, email, username, password with a tiny spacing. So that's it for the login and register widget UI. So in the next video, we'll actually implement the authenticating user functionality. So when I click on the register button, I have to be able to register my user with Firebase authentication, and I also have to save the user data into Firebase. So yeah, let's actually deal with that. So as I said, after building the UI, let's implement the authenticating user functionality. For that, let's go to auth controller.dot, because we're going to write all the state management and all the backend stuff in the controllers, because as I said, I want to differentiate between the UI and between the state. So here, let's create a new function named register user, and it takes in 3 parameters. Yeah, it's going to take in email, it's going to take in a password, and it's also going to take in a username. So string email, string password, and also a string username. And up here we have to create an instance, so we have to actually get the Firebase auth instance, right? So I'll say Firebase auth is Firebase auth, that's equal to Firebase auth dot instance. So Firebase auth dot instance. Oh, this is just a Firebase auth instance. Now I can use this Firebase auth without writing Firebase auth dot instance and so on. And here in the registered user, first of all, we wanna actually create the user in Firebase, right? So for creating the user in Firebase, let's go to the database and let's check. Yeah, there you go, in sign in method. Yeah, I enabled email and password. Now what I can do is I can just create a new variable named user credential, and I can just create with my Firebase auth packages the user. So what I can do is, yeah, I'll just name var user credential is going to be await, because it could take some time. That's why I have to wrap this into an async function, as I said, because it's going to take some time. So await Firebase auth dot create user with email and password, and the email is email and password is password, which I provided. Perfect. Now what I can do, I can just, I have the type of this, the type is user credential. Let me just copy this user credential. Okay, there you go. So after creating the user with email and password in Firebase, I want to take the whole data of him and save it in my cloud Firebase. So here, with this create user with email and password, the user will be shown here, but the user won't be shown here in my Firebase database. I want to also see his data here, right? So to do that, that's also pretty easy. What we can do is we can get the user from the user credential. So the user could be null, that's why I'm using a question mark with some this null safety things. We have to provide this, or else we get some error. The user is user credential dot user, so we can just extract the user from the user credential. And if you wonder what is this user, this is just a user account with Firebase auth. So this Firebase auth provides us with this user account, and I can just extract the user from this user credentials. Now again, I have to do some null safety error things. So if user is not null, if the user is not null, then we're going to save the data, or else we'll have some errors, right? The user didn't provide the correct, like he didn't provide a correct email address, like with the wrong format and so on. So if the user is not null, I'm going to take the user collection. So I have to create a user collection, I just forgot it. So let's go to our utils.dart and create a collection for the user, because here in Firebase database is something called collections and documents, right? So we have to create a user collection so that we can actually save the users here. And creating a collection is pretty simple. Let's go to utils.dart, as I said, and yeah, I can just say collection reference. It's going to be a type of a map. So it's going to be a type of a map, and the map is going to be a type of a string and dynamic. So string dynamic, and the user, yeah, I can just name it user collection. Is equal to Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection. I can just name this collection. Yeah, I'll just name it users. Perfect. So I can just take the user collection. Let me go to auth controller again, and in the auth controller, what I can do is I can just say if user is not null, user collection dot doc. So I have to create a new document. Let me just import this dot doc. So I have to create a document, right? So what is the document ID? I have to create some ID for this document, so I have to give a name for this, and the name I can just take user.uid. So what is UID? UID is just a random you know, we can just hover to it. The user unique ID which Firebase just creates for this user, and this is the name for this document. So in the document we have to save some data. I can say .set. So what do I want to save? I want to save the email, so I'll say email is email and the password. So this is a string and then a dynamic value, so key value pairs like a map. It's password. There you go. That's how you register a user. So when I save everything, of course we won't see any new updates, but now I can use this register user function in my auth screen. Here you go. First of all, we have an error: no Firebase app default has been created, call Firebase initialized app. The problem is we never initialized Firebase, right? So we have to initialize that before we actually use this Firebase functions. So for initializing Firebase, pretty simple. We have the Firebase code package for that. Let's go to main.dart, and at the beginning here itself we have to say widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialized. So we have to ensure that the widgets flutter binding initialized, then only we can initialize the Firebase. So let's wrap it in an async function, this main function, and then I can say await Firebase. So this comes from the Firebase code package, this Firebase thing dot initialize app. This is how we just initialize the whole app. Let me save everything and let's do a full restart because this is in the main function, and now we won't have this error anymore because we initialized Firebase. There you go, we don't have that error anymore. Now I can just use register function, register user function. So let's go to the where do we have to go? Let's go to register widget, and we have to have an access for this controller, right? I already injected the state in my auth screen, that's why I don't want to inject it twice. We get some memory leaks. Of course, why do we want to inject it again when we already injected it, right? So we just have to find the controller. So to find the controller, that's also pretty much easy. We have to just write get, so the auth controller, let's get the auth controller variable. Auth controller is get, I'm just waiting so that I can just import this. Get dot find, I have to find this controller and I have to provide a type, so the type the auth controller. So that's how we find the controllers in GetX. Now I can just use this auth controller. Here when a user clicks on this register button, what I can do is on pressed, take the auth controller and then auth controller dot register user. So what is the email, what's the password, what's the username? So the email is from the email controller dot text. So this is the text field. I'm extracting the text from the text field, and for the password it's also the same, password controller dot text. For the username, that's also the same. You can just say username controller dot text. There you go. Now when I save everything, nothing will happen, but now when I just enter some values and register the user will be registered in Firebase. So let's actually create a user. Let's click on this email text field. So I can just say tester@gmail.com. Sorry for that. Tester@gmail.com. Okay, now the username I can just say maybe like John, and my password is going to be tester123. Now if I click on register, this user should be registered. Let's actually open up the terminal and see if something is happening. There you go, something is happening right in the backend because we wrote this code for registering the user in the register user function. And let's go to our Firebase console and see if the user is registered there. Let's go to authentication and see if we have any user. There you go, tester@gmail.com, created at this time and signed in like this. Okay, and this is user UID. Let's go to Firebase database and see if the user data is collected. There you go. This is my unique ID, this is my document name, and then I have email and the password. But the problem was I didn't want to save the password. Let me just do some refactoring here. Instead of saying password, we don't want to save his password, right? We want to save his username. I forgot that was my error. Okay, username is username. So for logging in the user, it's also pretty much simple. We just have to go to the auth controller and create again a new function named login. We can just say login user maybe, and then I can just say string email, and I also have to provide a password, string password. And now what I can do, I can just wrap everything in a try catch block, because if I have any error, I print out that error. So try logging in the user. So let me just wrap this into an async function because it could take some time to log in the user. I can just say await Firebase auth dot sign in with email and password. The email and password providing through the parameters. Let me close this. And if you have any error logging in the user, I can just print failed to login user. Okay, now let me just save everything, and actually let's also provide the auth controller, like the login user function in the login widget itself. So when I click on this login button, I should be able to log in the user, right? So I can just say here auth controller, but I have to have a reference for the auth controller. So the same as we did it for the registered user, I can just copy this, go to login widget and paste it over here so that I have a reference to the auth controller. So I'm finding the auth controller via GetX, and here what I can do, I can just say auth controller dot login user email and password. So yeah, email and password are email controller dot text, and the password is password controller dot text. Okay, that should be good. Let me just save everything, and now we should be also able to log in the user. Okay, let's also go to auth controller and say if we log in the user, let's also print logged in user. Let me save this, and now when I log in the user, I should be able to see a message logged in user. Let's say tester@gmail.com, and the password was tester123, right? If I click on the login button, after some time, there you go, logged in user. So perfect, this is also working. So actually we're pretty much finished with the authentication section. In the next sections, we'll start to add wishes, or first of all, we also have to add another functionality. So the thing is, we are in the authentication screen, right? But for example, if the user has authenticated, then we have to take him directly to the home screen. So we have to provide some navigation and stuff like that before we can actually build out the home screen UI. For example, adding wishes, getting wishes from a database, and so on. So let's deal with that in the next sections. That's it for this whole authentication section. See you in the next section. So as I said, I have to take the user to the home screen when he's logged in. For example, now we are logged in, but we're still at the authentication screen, right? So let's create a home screen. Let's go to our screens folder and create a new screen named home screen, and let's import Flutter. Let's create a stateless widget. So now for now, let's return a scaffold actually, so that I can give some app bars and so on. Let me just remove this const values. So we're returning a blank scaffold, but let's take this home screen and go to our main.dart. Instead of saying auth screen, I'm going to create a new stateless widget named root. So this is going to be my root depending on the state. So if the user is logged in, then take him to the auth. Like if the user is logged in, take him to the home screen. If he's not logged in, take him to the authentication screen. So I have to deal with that. So here, instead of saying home is auth screen, I will say home is just my root widget. So home is root. And then instead of saying return container, I'm gonna actually have to check, right? I have to have a stream, because for now I don't know how the user is logged in or not. So I have to have some check, or I have to have some functions. For that, let's go to auth controller and deal here something. So the first thing is I have to actually get a reference to the user. Let's create a user. Let's create it as an RX user. So this is going to be an RX user, the type of user, because he's reactive. So whenever, like, I can just change the state of his user, right? If I click on sign out, then automatically our app should get the update. That's why I'm doing in reactiveness. So a user could also be null. That's why I'm using this question mark. So RX user is equal to RX user, and then again question mark. So here I have to also provide the user. So the user is Firebase auth.instance.current user. He's the current user. So this is my user. Now I have to bind a stream to this user. So when do we want to bind the stream to the user? We want to bind the stream to the user at the beginning of this controller. So after initializing the controller, I want to bind the stream to this user, right? So I have to create an onInit function. So this onInit function GetX already provides us. We just have to write onInit, and here we can provide, like, here we can execute functions which are going to execute it at the beginning of the controller. So whenever the controller is initialized, we can execute something. So onInit, it's a void onInit, and then we have to super initialize this. So let's say super dot onInit, and now what I can do, I can just say this user is going to get a stream. So user dot bind stream Firebase auth state changes. So I'm binding this auth state changes stream, which actually Firebase provides us. See, notifies about changes to the user's sign in state, such as sign in or sign out. So when the user is signed in, that means we're just providing some state, like some state to this user, right? We're just providing a stream. So depending on the user state, and we can take this state, go to our root, and actually deal with this. So here, instead of saying return container, we are actually working with Rx values. That's why it has returned an OBX, and in the OBX we have a builder. So now what we can do is, here we're going to return something. So, and also we have to have a reference. We have to have a reference to our auth controller, right? So here, let's take this get.put auth controller and paste it over here. So here only we're injecting the state for the auth controller, so not in the auth screen but in the root itself. That's why in the auth screen, instead of saying get.put, let's say get.find. I'm just finding the user, the auth controller here. So I just inject the state at the beginning itself, because I need the state at the beginning. I need the state here, right? Then only I'm going to the auth screen. So first of all, we're checking if the user is authenticated or not. So yeah, return auth controller dot user. So this user variable which we created in the auth controller, this user variable, we're binding a stream to him, and it will give us a user or not. So if return auth controller dot user dot value is equal to null. So if it is null, then take him to the auth screen. Take the user to the auth screen. He has to authenticate. But if it is not null, so if the user is authenticated, then take him to the home screen. This should actually work, and now I can just do a full restart. Actually, I can just do a full restart, and now we should be automatically taken to the home screen, because I already logged in the last videos, right? So it already knows that we're logged in, and Firebase just gives the changes to the stream, and there you go. We have a white scaffold because we're automatically taken to the home screen. Home screen. Now, yeah, at the end of the whole section, we'll also provide some sign out functionalities. But you can just delete this app and install it again, and then you can authenticate again if you want. But I'm going to implement the sign out at the last, like at the last section of this whole module, this wishlist module. But for now, yeah, we're actually finished with the authentication. So yeah, for now we're actually finished with dealing authentication and navigating the user depending on the authentication state. Now in the next videos, we can really focus on the home screen, and yeah, we can just focus on adding the wishes to the database and so on. So that's it for this video. Let me just see you in the next video. So after finishing the authentication sections, now let's actually build out the UI of the home screen. So here we're turning a scaffold, right? So in the scaffold, let's also have a body. So let's here have a body, and this body is going to be a single child scroll view as always, because my whole screen should be scrollable. Single child scroll view, and then here in the single child scroll view, I have physics. The physics are just scroll physics. And then I have a child column because I have elements beneath each other. Child column. It will have multiple children. So the first child is going to be my wish list title, and also how many wishes I have, right? So these things are in a row because they are next to each other, and the row has some children. So the first child, as I said, is going to be my text. I'll just say, yeah, wish list, and the style of this is going to be a text style function. Text style function, and let's provide some size, some color, and some font weight. So the color is going to be colors dot black, and the font weight, I can just say font weight to W600. Perfect. Let's save everything and see if we have our text wish list. There you go, wish list. And afterwards, so after next to this text, I want to also have how many wishes I have, right? So I created in a container because I'll also have a blue circle. So container, and the width is 45, the height is, yeah, let's make it also 45, and the decoration for this whole container, let's give some colors and so on. It's going to be a box decoration. The color is going to be colors.light blue. 200, it's going to be lighter. And then we'll also have a shape. So the shape is going to be a circle. The shape is box shape dot circle. And then in the container we'll have a child. So the child is going to be a text widget, text. And yeah, for now let's actually say we have 10 wishes, but later on we'll get it from a database how many wishes we have. And the style is, again, I can use my text style function. So the size is 25 pixels, and the color is going to be colors.white, and the font weight is going to be font weight W700. And this text itself is in the center of the container, so let's wrap this into a center. Now when I save everything, I should see my blue circle. There you go, 10. We have 10 wishes. And let's also make this a bit smaller actually. So I'll say 26. The text style 26 only for the wish list text, because for me it's too big. Yeah, there you go, perfect. We can also make this maybe 40 and this like 22, so that we have all proportions. There you go, wish list and 10. And let's also provide some padding for this whole column because it's at the top left corner, right? It's in the corner. Let's actually provide some padding. So I'll wrap this whole column into a padding widget, and edge insets dot only. From the left side I'll have 20 pixels. From the top I'll have 40 pixels maybe, and from the right I'll have 20 pixels. This should be good. Let's save everything, and we should also now we should see wish list, and you go 10. Yeah, we'll also want some spacing between these two widgets, right? So in the row I'll say main axis alignment dot space between. There you go, wish list and 10. Perfect. So after having this top app bar, now let's also provide some tabs so user can see his wishes. So the user can see his wishes, or also he can also see some fulfilled wishes. So to do that, after this whole thing, I can say const size box because I want some spacing, height maybe 20 pixels, and then now we'll again have a row where we'll have a tiny tab bar thing. So the first one is going to be again a text widget which says wishes, and the style of this is going to be text style 20. And yeah, the color for now, let's make it colors dot black, and the font weight, I can say font weight W600. We can do the same thing for the other thing also. So I can just copy this, paste it over here. Instead of saying wishes this time, I'll say fulfilled, so the user can see his fulfilled wishes here. Fulfilled 20. Yeah, here I'll say colors dot gray. Let's also provide some spacing in the row. So in the row itself, I can say main axis alignment. So main axis alignment is main axis alignment dot space evenly. Let's just save everything. There you go, wishes and fulfilled. So here when I click on wishes tab, I'll only see wishes. If I click on a fulfilled tab, I'll only see fulfilled wishes. Of course we don't have any state now, but in the later sections we also provide some state. I'll just create a new controller. So the controller name will be just home controller. So I'll just create a new file here, home controller. We'll have all the related stuff for the home screen. So let's create a get controller, GetX controller. I'll just name it home controller. Let me delete these stuff, and yeah, I will create a reactive string. So I'll say rx string. Yeah, how can we name it? Let's actually just name it tab, and the current tab will be wishes.obs, like just the exact thing what we did for the auth controller also for the auth tab. And I'll get a value, and here I'll also have tab dot value will be value. So whatever value we provide, so if we provide fulfilled, then a tab will be fulfilled, and so on. And now I can use this controller, this home controller, again in my whole screen itself. Let's go to the home screen, and here let's actually inject the state. So to inject the state, as you know, we just have to say get.put home controller. I'll say get.put, let me just name it home controller. Okay, we're injecting the state into our UI. Now I can use this home controller, but before that, everything's reactive. So let's wrap this whole single child scroll view into an OBX, so we can see the updates in the UI. Body OBX, and we're just returning a single child scroll view in the OBX. So now what I can do, I can just wrap here in the row, I can wrap these texts into inkwells. Now when I click on this, so on tab, I'll just execute the change tab function, right? I'll say home controller dot change tab, and the tab here is going to be wishes, and the same thing I can do here also. Let's wrap this into an inkwell. And here I just change it to full filled. Okay, perfect. So now here in the text style, instead of saying colors.black, it depends on the tab, right? So if we select the tab, then it's going to be black, but if it's unselected, it's gray. So here what I can say, I can again say home controller dot tab dot value. So if it is equal to wishes, then it's going to have a colors.black, or else it's going to have colors.gray. Perfect. So I can take the whole logic from here to here, but instead of saying if the home controller is equal to fulfilled, so if the tab is equal to fulfilled, then this text should be black, or else it should be gray. So it's the same here. Here we're checking for wishes, and here we're checking for fulfilled tab. Let me just do a full restart, because we're injecting a state into our UI. That's why we have to do a full restart. And this time our tab should also have some state. And we click on fulfill, then it should be black. If we click on the wishes, it should be selected, and so on. So there you go. Instance home controller has been created. Instance home controller has been initialized. If we click on the fulfill tab, there you go. This is black. And if we click on this wishes tab, there you go. This is selected. That's perfect. Our tab is also working. And now in the next section, let's move on and build our wish item. So if I here in the wishes, I have to see what are my wishes, the image, the title, also how much price, and so on, and also if it's fulfilled or not. So now let's actually work on the bottom section of our home screen. So here, after this whole tab, after this row, let's again provide a sized box. So here I'm going to say const sized box. Height I can again give 20 pixels. And now we're going to have a list view builder, because I don't know, like it could be lots of items, right? It's going to be a for loop, and the list view builder is going to just dynamically render the for loop for us. So list view builder, item builder takes in a context, and also it takes in an index. So let's actually work in this list view builder. This list view builder is also, we have to say shrink wrap is true, because we're already in a single child scroll view, and list view builder also has some scrolling ability. That's why it's going to get confused, and we're going to get an error. That's why make sure you have shrink wrap is true, and also the physics should be never scrollable physics. Never scrollable scroll physics. Okay, and a padding, let's also give no padding, because I already have a padding, right? So edge insets dot 0, and then I'm also gonna have an item count. For now, let's say 10, but later on I'm gonna get a number from the database. So depending on the items I have in a database, I'm going to render out a number here. So in the item builder, let's return an item. So return wish item. So this wish item widget I have to create. So let's actually create this wish item. That's why. So I'm creating another widget here in another file, because I want a clean code structure. That's why I'm doing this. So in the lib folder, we already have the widgets folder, right? So in the widgets folder, let's create a new file named wish item dot. Let's import Flutter here, material.dart, and let's create a stateless widget. I can just name it wish item. let's remove this const thing here. And now in the wish item, so it takes in a padding, or first of all let's actually think. So we're gonna have a list style actually, right? So in the list style we're gonna have a leading, then we're gonna have a title, we're gonna have a subtitle and a trailing widget. So I don't have to write so much of code using this predefined widget, but it actually just makes everything easy with this list style. So list style in the leading, so at the starting we're gonna have an image. So let's say image, it takes, so the image is going to come from a network, so I'll say network image. We have to provide some URL, so let's get a random URL. So I can just say mobile phone or iPhone. Yeah, let's actually say iPhone. Let's go to the images. I can just copy any image, for example. Yeah, you know what, let me just copy this image. This could be my first wish, an iPhone. I'll just copy this URL, paste it over here. Perfect. So we have a network image. So the image also takes in a width, so the width is going to be 64, and let's also fit this in. So the fit parameter is going to be box fit dot fill. Okay, perfect. And let's actually also mark this as const. So okay, const image. And after the leading we're gonna also have a title. So here I'll have a title, and the title is going to be a text widget again. So text, for example, yeah, the title for now is just iPhone, right? So iPhone. And let's have a style. So the style is going to be a text style function. Text style, it takes in a size 18 pixels. Color, let's say colors.black. The font weight, let's make it quite bold. So I'll say font weight of W700. And after the title we're going to also have a subtitle. So the subtitle is going to be a text widget again, and this is going to be the price. So what is the price? So the price is just, yeah, for now I can just say like $500. So to put dollars I have to use this escape symbol, or else we get confused between the string interpolation dollar. So I have this dollar, $500, and yeah, text style, I can use my text style function. The size, let's make it a bit smaller than the title, so 16 pixels. The color, let's make this gray, and the font weight is going to be font weight of W600. Okay, now we also have a trailing. So the last widget, we have a leading, we have the title, the subtitle, and the trailing widget is going to be a checkbox. So if the user clicks on this checkbox, and this is going to go to the fulfilled list. So for example, if he fulfilled this wish, you can just click on the checkbox, then this will go here, the fulfilled tab. So okay, the value for now, let's make it false, of course, and on change it's going to give us a boolean, but we'll for now do nothing. We just have a checkbox. Later on we'll do it, but we're just now building out the UI. And I can use this wish item, I can just import this wish item here, and when I save everything I should see 10 iPhone wish items, because I said item count was 10. There you go, perfect. iPhone, there you go, $15, $500, and so on. Let's also provide some paddings. So let's go to the wish item, and here I'll just wrap this whole list style into a padding. I'll say edge insists, but only from the bottom. I'll have 8 pixels of padding, and then I'll also have here in the subtitle, I'll wrap this into a padding. Edge insets dot only from the top. I'll have 5 pixels of padding. So this should be perfect. Let's save everything. There you go, iPhone, and then $500. Okay. So if I click on this, nothing will happen now, because on change nothing is happening. But for now we just have the UI, and for the fulfill also, there you go, I have this UI. But we have to create 2 list view builders. So let's go to home screen. We're gonna have 2 list view builders, because depending, I don't know what is fulfilled or what is not fulfilled, right? So I can just create here, I can say home controller dot tab dot value, if it is equal to wishes. If it is wishes, then show this list view builder, or else show another list view builder. So let me just copy this. I want another list view builder. So here in the fulfill, we still have the wishes, we have to show the fulfilled, right? So here I'm just returning a blank container, because I don't have any fulfilled things, but later on I'll implement it with the when I added wishes to the database, then I'll implement this. When I just save everything, and now when I go to the fulfill tab, see I have a blank container, okay, because I don't have any fulfilled wishes, but now I only have wishes. Okay, this is it for I think, yeah, we're actually finished with the UI. We're actually finished with the UI for the home screen. Now we can go on and implement the backend stuff. So I have to have a floating action button. If I click on that, okay, we're not actually quite finished with the UI. So if I have to have a floating action button here. If I click on that, then I'll be able to add a wish to the database. So I want to have a text field for a title and also for a price, and also have to pick the image, right? You also have to pick some kind of image. So let's do that in the next sections. So okay, after building the UI of the home screen, now I also have to add an ability to add a wish, right? So let's actually create a floating action button down here. So yeah, up here, so up here I mean, so in the scaffold I'll just say floating action button. Floating action button is a floating action button. Floating action button. Okay, and on pressed, first of all we'll do nothing. I'll implement it later on, but let me just build out the button first of all. Okay, let me just format everything. So on press, for now we'll just do nothing, but the child of this floating action button is going to be an icon. So I'll say const icon. So the icon is going to be an icons that add. The color, we're going to make it white, so colors.white, and the size of the icon is 40 pixels, and the background color for the whole floating action button is going to be colors.light blue, but more lighter, so I'll say in brackets 200. Okay, now let me just save everything, and we should see the floating action button. There you go, perfect. When I click on this, I have to open a dialog or a bottom sheet, then I can just add the values. I can just add the wish to my database. So when I open this, I have, like, when I click on this, I have to open a bottom sheet. So I'll say open add wish sheet. We're gonna just give it a context, and let's actually create this function. We're gonna write the logic for it here. It's gonna accept the context. Okay, so open add wish sheet. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually create a model bottom sheet, and in there we're gonna just see, okay, we're gonna put in a text field for the title, we're gonna put in text field a price, and also the user has to also add an image, right? So here we're gonna say return show model bottom sheet, and the context for now I'm going to just provide this context. So the builder, here we have to build everything, so the builder takes in a context and we can return something. So here I'm going to say return. Okay, what we're going to return, we're going to actually return a column because we have elements beneath each other, but actually the parent of this column should be a container, because for the bottom sheet I have to give an height. So I'll say refactor this into a container. So the container is going to have an height, let's say 230 pixels, maybe 230 pixels, and let's also give it a shape for this model bottom sheet. So I'll say shape is const rounded rectangle border. Now we can also give a border radius. So the border radius is border radius dot only, and here I can say the top left corner should have bottom radius. So I'll say radius dot circular 15 pixels, and the top right corner should also have a radius. So I'll say radius dot circular 15 pixels. Perfect. Let's actually save everything and see if we have a model bottom sheet. If I click on the plus button, there you go, perfect, we have this model bottom sheet. Okay, so the container has a column, right, and the column we have to provide multiple children. So the first child is going to be a row because I have elements next to each other. Let's actually think let's actually have a think about what we're going to have in a row. So the row is going to have the image and also the text form field, and yeah, after the text form field we have the price. Okay, we have the price or the title, and then we also have the button. Okay, let's plan it out. So first of all, we're going to just have an ability for a user to add a picture. Okay, so the picture, I'll actually just have an icon. So I'll say icon, icons dot add a photo. When the user sees this, you're gonna add a photo. It's gonna have a color, so the color is gonna be colors.gray and the size is 45 pixels. Perfect. And now we're gonna have the we're gonna just have the price controller, right? So I am gonna actually copy some text from the login widget. I'm gonna just copy the text field because I don't want to write it again and again. So I'm gonna take this, let's go to the home screen, paste it over here. I'm gonna of course change some stuff. So let's actually create a new text editing controller for the price. Text editing controller. Price controller is going to be text editing controller. That's it. Text editing controller. Perfect. Then we also have a title controller. So the title text field. So text editing controller, title controller is going to be a text editing controller. I can take this price controller and paste it over here, and the hint text should be price, and also the width should be not the whole width, let's just divide it by 2.5. And now let's see how our text form field will look like. Let's just give it a constant value for the icon, and now when I click on the plus button, I should see, there you go, this icon and also the price text form field. Okay, let's also provide a padding for this whole stuff. So let's align everything first of all here. So I'll say main axis alignment is main axis alignment dot space between, and let's also align this. So I'll wrap this whole column into a padding, and I'll say edge insets dot only. From the top I'll have 20 pixels, from the left 20 pixels, from the right 20 pixels. This should be good. Let's save everything, and now when I click on the plus button, there you go, I have this add photo icon and I have this price text form field. Okay, price. Okay, now let's come out of the row. So after this row, let's also provide some spacing. So I'll say const size box height 20 pixels, and let's again create a title text form field for the title. So let's copy this code, paste it over here. Yeah, it should take the whole width. Pretty much it should take the whole width, and also no margin. Let me also delete the margin here. I don't want any margin. Let's try this text form field. Okay, yeah, here I'll say your wish. So what is the wish of the user? Now let's save everything, and we should also see the title text form field. Yeah, there you go, perfect. And now after the title text form field, we're going to have a button, right? So when a user clicks on a button, the wish will be added to the database. So const size box height is going to be 20 pixels again, and now we're going to have a small button. So let's actually again, let's go to the login, where is it, login widget, and let's actually just copy this one, this button. So the height, yeah, 45. Let's actually give it the whole width, but the height, yeah, 45. On press for now will do nothing. Later on implement the functionality. So light blue, okay, but yeah, the text is add to my list. When the user clicks on this button, we should add the wish to our database and show it here in our home screen. Let's click on this plus, there you go, add to my list button is also there. Okay, so everything is working perfectly. We actually built the UI for the model bottom sheet. Let's also now implement some state for this model bottom sheet. So what do I mean with improving the bottom sheet? So what I mean is when I click on this price, there you go, like I can't see the model bottom sheet, right? I can't see the bottom sheet. And also when I click on the wish form field, see, I can't see it, right? That's a really huge problem. We have to fix that. So to fix that, it's a tiny fix. We just have to go here. We have to say is scroll controlled. Yeah, it's true, it is scroll controlled. And we also have to provide a padding for this whole container. So let's actually wrap this into a padding, and the padding shall be edge insets dot only. From the bottom media query, let's take the media query dot of context dot view insets dot bottom. But this is how we do it. So view insets at bottom, it's the bottom view insets are just the offset from the bottom screen, and we also have to wrap this whole container into a single child scroll view. So let's wrap this with the center and just change it to a single child scroll view. And let's also provide a physics for this. Physics is const scroll physics. Perfect. Let's click on save all, and now when I click on this add button and also click on this price controller, there you go. Now this dialog also opens up, like it comes to the top with the keyboard. Okay, so this is working beautifully. And now what we want to actually also implement this, when I click on this add photo icon, I'll have the ability to add the photo, and the photo should be displayed here. To implement that functionality, it's also pretty much easy. Let's go to our home controller, not the auth controller, home controller, and in the home controller let's actually provide an rx string again, because everything is reactive. So rx string is going to be a selected picture. So selected picture is, it's going to be a blank string .obs at the beginning, and then let's actually create a function named, how can we name this function? We can just say select picture. Okay, let's say select picture. The user will have an ability to select a picture from his gallery, and then this picture will be shown here. To select picture, and to actually select the picture is easy. You have to say x file, it's question mark because it could be null, right? And let's name this picked file, and let's say await. It could take some time to pick the image, so await image picker, and let's actually create an instance. So image picker, let's actually create an instance for this image picker up here. Image picker is image picker. Okay, perfect. So I'll say await image picker dot pick image. So we're going to pick an image from the gallery, and then I can just say here image picker dot pick image. We have to provide also a source, so I'm going to get it from the gallery. So image source dot gallery. Now after picking the image, so this can be null, right? That's why after picking the image I have to check if it's null or not. So if picked file is not null, if it is not null, then the selected picture string I'm going to just change the value for it. So I'll say selected picture dot value. So change the value for a selected picture variable to whatever the picked file path is. So picked file dot path. Now in this way, when I click on this add photo icon, it will display us our gallery. We can select a picture, and then the selected picture variable will be this picked file dot path. Now taking the selected picture, I can again go to my home screen, and I can update here this picture here. So to update that one, what I can say is, I can say here in my row, what I'm going to do, first of all, we're going to actually wrap everything into an obx, because we're using some reactive programming, right? So we're using these reactive values. That's why we have to wrap this into an obx with getX. And in this row, in this children, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say home controller. So if the home controller selected picture is empty, if it's an empty string, then show this icons dot add photo stuff. Okay, but if it's not empty, so if there is a selected picture, then show an image. So show the actual image which was picked. So image, and the image comes from the file. So I'll say file image, the local file. So the file is just, I can just say file from .io, import it from .io, and I have to just provide a path. So the path is home controller dot selected picture dot value. Let me just format everything so that you can see it. So pretty much I'm just doing easy, a simple if check. So if it is empty, then show this add photo icon, or else just show the actual image, the file image. You can also provide some width for this. So the width is 64 pixels, height I'll say 64 pixels, and also let's fit it in. So the fit is box fit dot cover. Let's say height is 60. Okay, 60. Let's make it 60. Let's format everything, and now let's also wrap this icon into an inkwell, because I want to have the ability to do something when I click on this, right? So inkwell, and on tap, and user clicks on this icon, Then what we're going to do, we're going to say home controller.select picture. We're going to execute the select picture function. Okay, beautiful. So let's also wrap this image into an inkwell. And on tab, so when user clicks on this, then again he should be able to select a picture from a gallery. So let's save everything and see if we have any updates. We won't have any updates, but now when I click on this add photo icon, I'll be able to select the image from the gallery. So I clicked on this, see, it will show me my gallery, and I think I have no items. Let's go to downloads. So I don't have any items, so let me just say this is going to be some picture. Okay, like some picture. Yeah, I can just say photography. Okay, there is a problem because I think I created I didn't change the controller. Okay, there you go, I didn't change the controller. This should be the title controller. Let me just come back and do it again. Let me save everything. This should be the title controller. This text form field should have a title controller, and this should have the price controller. Okay, let me just do it again. So the price, how much? Let's say $100. At my wish, so this wish title is photography or just photo frame. And yeah, there you go. This works perfectly. When I click on add to my list, of course nothing happens, but I just wanted to show that everything is working cleanly. There you go, we have our image also. Now when I click on this again, I can again, if I want, I can just select another image. For example, I can just select this image, and that's how it works. So yeah, everything is working good. And in the next sections, we're gonna actually again work with our Firebase database. So now we have to take this data and add it to our database, and then after adding to the database, I have to show the data here in our home screen, because here these are just hard-coded values, right? These are not my actual wishes, these are just hard-coded. So yeah, let me just see you in the next video. So let's actually add the add wish functionality. So let's go to our home controller, and here we have select picture function. Let's actually create a new function named add wish. With this function we can just add the wish. It's going to take in the wish and also what is the price for the wish. And now first of all, so let's first of all just upload the file to a Firebase image storage. So I have to just upload this image. So if I have some image, so for example this photography image which I uploaded, right? So this image has to first of all be uploaded to my Firebase storage here at the server, and then I have to get the URL for this and then save it back again here. So let's first of all do that. So what I'm going to do is here I'm going to write a comment. So uploading file to Firebase image storage. Let's do that. So to upload the file to the Firebase storage, I can just say upload task, and yeah, I'm going to say upload task variable, and I can use the Firebase storage package. So I'm going to say Firebase storage.instance .ref, get the reference, and then the child of this is going to be the images. So I'm going to create the images folder in my Firebase storage server, and the child of this I have to provide some name. So file1 I'll say, and then I have to put the file. So I'll say dot put file. So the file itself is going to be the file, and then the path, the path is just a selected picture variable, right? So selected picture dot value, I have to extract a string from the rx string. That's why I'm doing dot value here. So I'm just uploading the file to my Firebase image storage, and after uploading it I have to get the URL back, right? So I'll say task snapshot is equal to await. So I have to wait until the upload task is finished. So I'll say upload await upload task wait. I have to just wrap this into an async function because it could take some time. So await upload task dot when complete. I'm just waiting until it's completed, and then when it's completed I can get the URL. So I'll say string image URL is await snapshot dot ref dot get download URL. Perfect. So yeah, we're uploading the file to the Firebase image storage. but I don't want to write file1, right? Because then every file will be file1. We have to, depending on the length of the items in my storage, then only I want to put a variable here. I don't want to put file1. So to get the length of the whole Firebase collection, it's also easy. Here I'll write another comment, getting length of the wishes collection. So the int length variable is going to be await. So go to the user collection dot doc. So the document should be the current user's UID, right? So I'm going to use again Firebase auth dot instance dot current user dot UID, give this UID, and I use the exclamation mark for some null safety errors. And then in the user collection, so for example here I have the users, but in the users itself I'll create another collection in wishes, and in this wishes collection I'll have all the wishes of the user. So I'll say dot collection wishes dot get to get the length, and I can say dot then get the actual length. So I'll say value dot value dot docs dot length. Yeah, there you go guys, perfect. So I'm getting the length of the wishes collection here. So I'm just going to the user collection, then going to the current user's UID collection, so going to the current user's collection, and then going to the wishes collection. So I'm just getting the length of the wishes collection. I'm going to the user collection, then going to the document of the current user, then going to the collection of wishes, and then getting it and getting the length of the documents there. And here, instead of saying file1, what I can do, I can just say depending on the length. So I'm doing a string interpolation. I'm just putting a variable into a string with this dollar symbol. Okay, there's another step. So getting length and then uploading file to Firebase image storage, and the last step is actually save the data in a Firebase document. Saving data in Firebase document. So after just uploading the image and so on, and I have to just save every data here in this collection, right? So to do that, that's pretty simple. I'm going to just copy some code from here. So go to the current users document and go to the collection wishes, and in the wishes collection say dot doc, again dot document. We have to have another document, but we don't need a document. We can just say dot add to add some data, because it'll just create a random document for us, because I don't want to give any name for the document. Just give me a random document. And here what I can say wish is wish. So the wish parameter which I'm getting here, this is my wish. And then what is the price? The price is just the price. And then what is the image? The image is the image URL, and if it is fulfilled or not. So the default shall be false. It's not fulfilled, it's a wish. So the default, I'm gonna just put false. And yeah, wished on. So I'm just also storing the date when I wished this thing. Wished on. I can just say datetime.now. So just the current date. Beautiful. Okay, we're saving the data in the Firebase document, and actually we finished saving the whole data into Firebase. So let's actually check it out if that is working. So I'm just doing a save. So I can use this add wish function. Let me go to the home screen. Where is the home screen? So we have this button, right? Where is it? We have this button, add to my list button. Here we're gonna execute that function. So I'm gonna say home controller dot add wish, and we have to provide the wish. So the wish is wish controller. Oh, whoa, not window. How did I name it? I named it title controller. Okay, title controller dot text, and I also have the price controller, but the price I want to convert it back to a double. So I'll say double dot parse price controller dot text, and that's actually finished. And after uploading this whole wish, I also want to clear out these values from this text fields, and also want to clear out this image here. So to do that, let's go to add wish again, and let's have a return type of a future. So future add wish. So here we're returning a future, and I'm gonna go to my home screen, and here, because I'm returning a future, I define it as a future. I can say dot then. So what happens afterwards? So after adding the whole data, let me just do a format. Okay, so after adding the whole data to my database, I'm going to clear out some values. So first of all, I have to clear out the title controller dot clear, then the price controller also, price controller dot clear. And what we want to clear, we want to clear also the home controller. So the home controller dot selected picture dot selected dot value should be null, so the picture itself shall be again a default, so it should show this add photo icon, should be an empty string. And let's also come back, so we have to pop out the model bottom sheet. So to pop it out, we can use navigator.pop, but I'm going to use something like a get.back. So get actually also has navigation, so with get.back, and I can just pop out the model bottom sheet. And we can also show a snack bar with get, so the user knows, okay, it was uploaded. So get.snack bar, the title is success, the message, yeah, we can just say wish added. Perfect. But to use navigation, let's go to main.dot. You have to wrap the material app into a get material app to use the actual navigation, but the state itself we can use with the normal material app, but for navigation we have to use this get material app. Let me do a full restart and see if we are able to add wishes to our database. Let's check it out. I'm also not sure if it works 100%. Okay, auth control has been created, everything has been created, and now let's see if we're able to add to our database. So let's click on this add button. Let's click on a photo. I'll just upload a photo. Yeah, I can just say this photo, and yeah, the price, as I said, $500 for example, and my wish is yeah, photo from John, like the artist is John, photo from John. And now when I click on add to my list, after some time this bottom sheet shall be popped out. So something is happening. There you go, success, wish added. We're also showing a snack bar, and let's go to our database and see if it is actually updated. Let's see if our wish has been added to our database. There you go, we have a collection wishes, and there you go, we have this document, fulfilled, false, image, the price, the wish itself, and when it was wished on. And we also uploaded this image here into Firebase server. Yeah, there you go, this image. Yeah, so everything is working perfectly. We implemented adding a wish to the backend, and now in the next sections we actually have to implement getting the data back. So we have to get the data back from the backend and show it in our home screen. So before actually getting all the wishes from a database and showing in our home screen, I actually want to prepare it. So I want to create a model for this. So let's go to the lib folder, not an idea, for a lib folder. Let's create a new folder for all my models. So I want to parse the whole wish, right? So that's why I'm doing a need code structure. So let me just say wish model dot here. I don't want any Flutter, I don't want to import Flutter. I'm going to just create a class wish. I'm just creating a wish model. And what are the parameters for a wish? So the parameters for a wish is a string ID. Note I'm doing late because in the new Flutter updates we have to use this late for late initialization. So late string ID, late string wish, late. Yeah, okay, now you can wonder what this late means. This late just means I'm promising Flutter that I will initialize this later on, but not now, but later on I'll initialize it. So late double price. Yeah, the wish also has an image, right? So late string image, and we also have a fulfilled boolean. So I'll say late bool fulfilled, late timestamp wished on. So when we wished this, and then I can say wish is this dot id, this dot wish, this dot price, this dot image, this dot fulfilled, this dot wished on. Yeah, this dot. Let me just close this hole with the brackets, and now we're getting the data from a Firebase, so we can say from a Firebase document, so I can say wish dot from document snapshot, and as a parameter I can just provide the query document snapshot. So I can say query document snapshot, it's a type of an object, question mark and doc. So I'm doing a question mark because, as I said, I don't know, like it could also be null, that's why I'm doing with the question mark. So the ID is the doc.id, the wish is doc, and then as it's gonna just parse it like a map, doc, and then go to the wish value. Like is it wish? Yeah, wait, let me just see. Yeah, wish. And for the price, I can again say doc price. For the image, I have said doc image. The fulfilled, I can again say fulfilled is doc fulfilled wished on. I can say doc wished on. I'm just checking if I named it wished on or not. Yeah, wished on. Yeah, perfect. Okay, this is our wish model. We're actually finished creating a wish model. Now in the next section, we're gonna actually get the data from the backend and parse it to a wish, and then we're gonna just show it here in the home screen. Now, as I said, let's actually get the wishes from the database. So let's go to our home controller and create a list of wishes. This is a home screen. A home controller is here. So let's create a list of wishes, but this is going to be an RX list because it's reactive. So RX list, and it's a type of my wish model, wish. Let's name it wishes, and yeah, I'll just say wish. Whoa, not there. Wish, and then list dot obs because it is reactive. And then I have the RX list again. So RX list wish. So we have another list for the fulfilled wishes. So wish, and here I'll say fulfilled wishes, and I can just say wish dot obs. Perfect. Now we have to actually add some values to this wishes list, right? So when are we gonna get, oh wait, it's gonna be a list. When are we gonna get the wishes? We're gonna get the wishes at the beginning. So at the beginning of the initializing of this controller. So I have to provide it in the onInit function. So I'll say onInit super.onInit, and I also have to override this, right? This tiny stuff, override this, and yeah, this is a void onInit. So in its onInit function, at the beginning of this initialize, like at the beginning of this controller, I have to do something. I have to get the wishes. So I'll create a function named get wishes. Let's say get wishes. This is going to be a function. In the get wishes function, we're going to bind a stream to this RX list because yeah, I'm going to get the wishes as a stream. So that's why I'm going to say wishes dot bind stream, and my stream is, yeah, go to the user collection document, the UID. Let's get the UID. Let's actually just create another variable here named string UID. It's Firebase auth dot instance dot current user dot UID. Make sure you use this exclamation mark or else you'll get these null safety errors. So yeah, user collection dot doc UID dot there, go to the collection wishes, and then in the wishes collection you have to filter it out, right? So the filter is the fulfilled value should be false. Yeah, no, it should be no, it should be false for getting the wishes, but for the fulfilled wishes, the fulfilled value shall be true. Yeah, there you go. Fulfill, and to filter it out we have to say fulfill, and then we have to say is equal to false. Okay, and then we also have to get the snapshots, so we have to get it as a stream. That's why dot snapshots, and now we can just map it. So I'll say dot map, like in a for loop, so it just goes through every snapshot. And now in the map I'm getting the event, so this event is just a query. And yeah, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just say, so list wish. I'm going to create a temporary wishes list here, and now I can just use a for loop. So I'm going to go through every document. So I'm going to I have to actually get the documents. So this is just a query, but I have to get the documents. So I'll say list is again a list query document snapshot, and this is a type of object within question mark because it can be null. But this is the docs list, and yeah, I can just say query dot docs to get all the documents. So to get all the documents where the fulfills value is actually false. So after getting everything, I'm going to go through every document. So that's why I'm using a for loop. For var element in the docs list, I'm going to add a wish. So I'm saying wishes, this temporary wishes list, wishes dot add wish dot from document snapshot. Now I'll just, that's why this is the power of this model. Now I can just provide, provide the query snapshot, and it will just provide the values for my wish model. But as this is, wait, the body might complete normal cost, not adding return or true somewhere at the end. Yeah, as we are expecting to return something, because we're binding the stream to it, we have to return the wishes. So return wishes like this wishes list, and now it's going to take everything. It's going to take the wishes list and just bind it to this RX list. So these are reactive wishes in my RX list, and now I can use this RX list in my home screen to show all the wishes. So let's go to home screen, and here what we're going to do is we're going to actually, again, we can have, wait, let's go down here. Home controller.type.value is equal to wishes, and instead of saying return wish item is correct, but let's go to the wish item and let's actually say we're expecting something here. So the final, we're expecting a wish, so final wish. Now we also have to accept it. Wish item this dot wish, let's import this wish. Now instead of saying here this image, I don't want this image, right? I can just say wish dot image, and I can just remove this const, or else we get some warning. Here you go, wish dot image, and instead of saying iPhone, depending on the wish from the database, so I'm going to say wish dot wish, and here we're gonna get the price. So I'm going to say wish dot price, and this is a double, that's why I'm doing a string interpolation, wish dot price. And here value is false, but here it's value is wish dot fulfilled or not. Okay, I can go to the home screen. I have to provide the wish here, so I'm getting the wishes in a list, right? So I can just say home controller dot wishes, and as we are in a list view dot builder, I can just say index. So depending on the index, and the item count also, this should be dynamic. So I'll just say home controller dot wishes dot length, so depending on the length of the wishes list which I'm getting here. And yeah, at the starting of the initializing of this controller, I'm getting all the wishes. And if I save everything, we should actually see the wishes, because we already have OBX here. That's why we have to see the wishes actually. Yeah, we have, I think we have an error. We don't have any error. Let's save everything. Okay, fulfilled was false. And let's see if we have any wishes, because actually we should see one wish, right? Yeah, there you go guys, photo from John, $500, and this is the actual image which I provided. That means this is working perfectly. And yeah, actually we just implemented getting the wishes from the database, right? And now when I click on fulfilled, we don't have anything, and let's actually also implement for the fulfilled. But for now, we're getting all the wishes, and in the next video let's actually get all the fulfilled wishes. Getting all the fulfilled wishes is also pretty much simple. I can just say here and just copy this. I'll just change the name of this function. Instead of saying get wishes, I'll say get fulfilled wishes, and this should be equals to true. So fulfilled, the value of fulfilled should be true, and wishes dot bind stream, but instead of saying wishes dot bind stream, fulfilled wished, not wished, wishes. Let's change the name wishes, but this list should get this, and we're finished. Now we can just use this, but we're never calling this get fulfilled wishes, right? So we kind of have to call this fulfilled wishes. We kind of have to also call this fulfilled wishes function. So when we're gonna call this, we're gonna call this at the change tab function. We're gonna change the tab. So I'm gonna say if value is equal to fulfilled, and we also have to again have an and check if the fulfilled wishes rx list had already the first build. So if it is the first rebuild of this, so what do I mean with first rebuild? Because I don't want to, if I click on fulfilled again and again, I don't want to get the new stream again and again, because I already binded the stream, right? And the stream automatically gives me the values. That's why only at the first build I want to execute this function. Yeah, I can just say get fulfilled wishes. Perfect. Let's save everything, but before saving everything, let's go to my home screen, and instead of saying return container, I'm gonna again say return wish item, and instead of saying home controller.wishes, here I say home controller.fulfilled wishes. When I say everything now, I won't see anything for the fulfilled wishes, because yeah, there is no fulfilled wishes. Range error, invalid value, valid value range is empty 0. Oh, item count was 10. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that. I have to also update this. Fulfilled wishes dot length. This time that this should be null, because there are no wishes, right? Because we only have one wish, and this wish is actually not fulfilled yet. So when I change this here in my database to true, as I have a stream automatically here, there you go, this updates automatically here, and also here we have the update. But that's the power of streams. Let's change it back to false, because of course we want to do it here dynamically. When I click on this checkbox, this item then should go to the fulfilled section. So let's implement that functionality in the next video. So we're getting the wishes, we're getting the fulfilled wishes, but yeah, we have to also add this ability. When I click on this checkbox, then this wish should go to the fulfilled wishes. So yeah, to implement that, let's go to our wish or this home controller, and let's create a new function named fulfill wish. This is going to update the values in the database. So fulfill wish. So this fulfill wish function takes in two parameters. So the first parameter is the status, so if it is fulfilled or not, if it is fulfilled previously or not, so wish status. And it's also going to take in the ID of the document, so wish ID. And now what I can do, I can just wrap this into an async function, because it could take some time to update the value. And I can just say await user collection. Whoa, wait a minute, there you go, await user collection dot doc. So the doc depends, yeah, I have to go to the current user's UID doc, so that's why I'm just using this UID variable which I created at here, this UID variable. Okay, coming back to here, and then go to the collection. So go to the wishes collection, and then go to, depending on which ID I provided, go to that wish document, and then there update the value. So update the new status which it should get. Here in the map, I can just say fulfilled is just the new wish status which it should get. So if I save everything, we are never executing this function fulfill wish. We have to execute this in my wish item widgets. So here wish that fulfilled, and after getting the value, so on change, now we can use this. I can say I have to actually get a reference for the home controller again. So let me just do a quick GetX thing. So I'll say home controller home controller is get dot find. We're gonna find the home controller because we already injected the home controller. Now we just have to find it. Home controller dot fulfill wish, and the new wish status depends on the value which we get here, the new value, and the wish id is just wish dot id. This is how we fulfill the wish. Let me just click on save all. Now when I click on this checkbox, there you go, this vanished from here and now it went to the fulfilled section. See, the value is also fulfilled. Now when I click on again this here, there you go, it's now in the wishes list. So this is also working perfectly. And yeah, in the next videos we'll just implement deleting, signing out, and also we have to update this value here, right? So it shows 10 but we only have 1 because this is hard coded. You have to implement it with the backend. Now let's actually implement it deleting the wish. Of course I don't know why, but I just want to delete the wish. I have to add that ability also, right? In the home controller, let's create a new function named delete wish. It's gonna just have the wish id. Yeah, it's gonna go to the collections wishes dot doc, and yeah, I just have to say dot delete a document in the backend. And let's go to the widget here. So when do we want to delete it? So on double tap, the user double taps on this list tile, but we can't implement double tap like that, so we have to wrap this whole list tile into an inkwell so that we can add double tap functionality. Inkwell on double tap. So when user double taps on this list tile, then I have to delete the whole wish. So home controller dot delete wish, and I have to provide the wish id. The wish id is just on the wish model here, wish dot id. Now let's do a full hard reload. I kind of don't want to delete this, I don't know why. Let's just check it out if we can delete it. Double tap, there you go, deleted because I double tapped it. Now let's quickly add a wish. Say $500 photo from John. Click on add to my list. There you go, success wish was added. Perfect. So yeah, the delete functionality is also finished. We're nearly coming to the end. We just have to implement this one and also sign out functionality. So as I said, I want to add the ability for showing the number of wishes. Right here it's showing 10, but of course it's only one wish. I have to get it from the database. So let's go to the home screen, and where do we have it? We have the container here. Let's wrap this into stream builder because we're getting it as a stream. The type of query snapshot. I can directly say query snapshot, and the stream, yeah, we're gonna get it from our we're gonna get it from the home controller. Let's go to the home controller and create another new function named, we can just say get number of wishes. So yeah, we can just create it here. It's going to be a stream, and the type is going to be a query snapshot. I can just copy it. I can just copy it from here, which much is similar like this. Perfect. And yeah, I can name this get num, so number of wishes stream. And I also have to provide a wish status because I don't know, do I want to get the number of wishes or do I want to get the number of fulfilled? That's why I'm saying this wish status. And here what I can say is return user collection dot doc uid dot collection fishes dot where, so where the fulfilled is equal to, and I'm directly using the wish status, right? So is, where is it, wait, is equal to wish status. Okay, and I can just say dot snapshots to get all the snapshots, but we have a tiny error. What's the error? I said dot where dot snapshots. I don't know what my error is. A value of type query snapshot map string can't be assigned. But what's the problem, man? I'm saying dot where. Yeah, I was just confused for a while, but yeah, I don't know why I said query document snapshot. It's just a snapshot, right? So I have to say query snapshot, not query document snapshot. Okay, we got the stream. Now I can use this get numWishes stream. So I'm getting all the snapshots. And now let's go to the home screen, and the stream, it depends on the tab. So if the home controller dot tab dot value is equal to wishes, then I want to show another stream. So depending on the tab, I want to show the stream. So I can just say home controller dot get numWishes stream. This should be false, right? Yeah, this should be false. So first one is false. If the tab is wishes, then the fulfilled should be false, or else if it is fulfilled, the tab is fulfilled, then I'm going to say home controller dot get numWishes stream true. And I think I have to add a bracket. No, not a bracket. I have to add something because I have to add a comma. Let me just format everything also. Yeah, there you go. I'm checking if the tab is wishes. If it is wishes, then show it as false. So the number of wishes, like the numWishes stream, then the fulfilled should be false, or else give me all the documents with the fulfilled true. Now what I can simply do is, I'm getting the snapshot, right? So I have to get the data. Here I'm saying return container, but I have to say if the snapshot has any data. So here return snapshot dot has data, because it could take some time to get the data, but in the meanwhile I will show a circular progress indicator. That's why I'm doing it like this. So if it has any data, then show this container, but or else if it doesn't have any data, then show a circular progress indicator. So I'll say circular progress indicator. Perfect. Now I have to also provide the number of things, right? So here, instead of saying 10, what I can do, I can say snapshot dot data, and it could be null. That's why I'm using the exclamation mark dot doc dot get all the documents. So this is the data, and then get all the documents, because this is a query snapshot. Then get the length of the documents, then say dot string. So this is how we check how many items we have. So performing hot reload, there you go, 1, and when I go to fulfill tab, this should be 0 because we don't have any fulfilled wishes. 1 0, that means this is also working perfectly. This was a simple fix, right? I just had to wrap it into the stream builder because I'm getting it as a stream with real-time updates, and then I'm just getting all the snapshots, and after getting the data, I'm just getting the length of this, and this is how we show how many items we have in a certain collection. So I think we are nearly finished. Yeah, actually we're finished, guys. We're finished. We just have to implement the sign out functionality, and then we're finished. So let's actually quickly do that, and I'll come to a conclusion. So let's actually add the sign out functionality. So when do we want to sign out? So I don't have any sign out buttons, so that's why I'm going to just wrap this wish list title into a inkwell. So when the user clicks on this wish list title, then we'll sign out. So inkwell on tap, let's create later on a function, but I'll just say for now home controller dot sign out. Let's create the sign out function. Let's just create this function down here, sign out. So to sign out is pretty much simple. Again, you just have to use a Firebase auth. So Firebase auth dot instance dot sign out. But after signing out, we have to clean all the data. We have to clean all the controllers, right? So we have to clean our home controller. So to clean the home controller, I just have to say get dot delete. I have to just delete it from the memory itself. It dot delete the home controller. So why I'm deleting this home controller? Why can't I just put it like this? For example, if I sign out, okay, if I sign out and then if I sign in as another user, then it will show the items from the previous user itself, because the data will be like this. the controller itself won't initialize again, right? That's why to initialize the controller again, I'm deleting the home controller, and when the user comes back, then he'll see the fresh items. So that's why I'm using this. And let's check this out if this is working. And now if I click on this wish list text, the sign out is gonna notify in our auth controllers. It's gonna notify this stream, so we're binding a stream, right? It's gonna notify this, and then in main.dart we are checking there, so the user will be null, and then we'll go to the auth screen. So let me just click on this, and we should be in the auth screen. There you go, perfect. Now I can come back again. Let me just say, yeah, I think it was tester@gmail.com. the password was tester123. If I click on login now, I should be in the home screen. There you go. These are all the data from John. So yeah, actually we finished building out the app. I hope you learned something. That's actually also the end of this course, I think. Yeah, this is the end of this course, guys. So this is the end of the course. So we have made it, guys. We have finished with this course. I had lots of fun recording all these videos. I hope you learned something and will take something away from this awesome course. So we started small with the build split app, then slowly step by step we built the hangman game, the pomodoro app. In each section I tried to bring out a new concept, new idea, new state management, or something new. Like we built the pomodoro timer app. At the other side we built a meal generator with an API. Then we also used local databases. So I tried to combine everything, and at the end we also used GetX State management and Firebase. So what I did was I just tried to combine everything into one video, into one whole course for an intermediate who learn Flutter, who wants to now learn more, who wants to get into Flutter. So this is a perfect course for you, and I hope you enjoyed this course. Yeah, let me just see you in the next courses. If you tend to buy other courses, yeah, thank you for everything. See you in the next courses.